You. Yeah, that should be in there, week. I don't think I changed anything recently. All my patches after the... Oh, okay. Wow, that was really good timing on the music there, where the fucking psycho drop started happening as soon as the cacophony ended. Good job. Anyway, yeah, all of my changes to Stormborn post-contest, I think, were just to fix some issues with the core game, not the AI. Just with the AI after a certain point. Alright, so first off, check out my fucking ramp. It's by DF. He did it. I feel like I'm missing a tile, though. Oh, that's the tile. There does still seem to be a terrain block, but DF made this ramp. So that's what we're using now, as opposed to the shitty one that I was using before. The remastered ramps look worse than the ramps that I made. It's really bare, like, budget fucking 5-minute placeholders, so that's really all you need to know. He's gonna work on the north-facing version of this, the man-made ramp, and then I tried to convince him to make an organic one too, but at the very least we'll have the man-made one. If we don't have any other options, we can use that. And then obviously the outpost ramp, which should probably be converted into something that's much steeper, but also thinner, or whatever, because like it's way too long right now, way too wide. Anyway, we didn't actually do at any point. At no point rather did we finish crack. So let's do that. We'll close off the. I didn't need to close that other one, I guess. But we are going to. I wish I could like. Maybe somebody already knows how to do this. I wish I could open up multiple instances of Notepad and then also save the documents that were open as like almost like a set of tabs, like bookmarking a tab in a browser. Something like that, like being able to just quickly open it up so that there's a suite of shit. And everyone would have the color list open, but then like the Todborne unit def and upgrades ext text file and AI master list and a bunch of other shit would be there, as well as like, you know, then there could be like a separate drop down for other things. I don't know. Like, I feel like there should be something like that. Oh, session. Well, this is probably exactly what I'm talking about. So why don't we test this out real quick? So we'll do upgrades exe. This is Hydra, right? So we can do that. Close that. And we could say save session. Could you imagine if everything was like that? Dude, if it was all that easy, that would be great. So maybe actually I should actually put this in the Hydra folder. can do something like Hydra session base. And then if we delete all that, and then we go in here and we grab unit def Todborne, set it to view in ASC3. I don't think there is a Todborne AI file, like a master file, so I should make one. In fact, what is I can, yeah. I'm just lazy. Alright, so... Yeah, no, that's right, though. I should do that. Sorry, I was texting. All of Amsterdam. I think the reason why I wanted to keep them as TXT3 or TXT files is because I don't think PyAI can interpret other files, but hopefully it doesn't matter. Let's find out. Seems good. Oh, yeah. Another good suggestion. Perfect. Alright. So now we have this. I'm going to save this as Todborne AI. Easy. I don't even remember the name of the third map, to be honest. I have to go and look at it in the document. TX3T, to be honest. Sacred Cows. I really should just call that Sacred Crows. But whatever. There you go. Sacred Crows it is. Oh. Wow, I have been out of it for a while for this one, huh? I haven't written one of these. I mean, it's so rare that you actually write one of these documents. I don't think we need... I think there's only 4 AI that run here. What was Revive listed as? Terrence 7. Yeah, we don't need that. That can be PB1A. And then I'm pretty sure there's more in this one. So this would be F, 2A, 2B, 2C, E. Oh, you know what? I also have to... I should do something, reserve a script for the AIs that are... What's the term? I always forget the fucking word for this. So I talked about this briefly in one of the dad cause, I think the most recent one. I want to create a neutral hostile creep camp player that's only hostile to the players and not to the AI. That is going to basically serve as interaction for the micro player, but only if that micro player is there. So I don't know how to implement that exact specification. Like, I don't know how to make it so that it's configured so that it only shows up at the right times. But that's the idea. Now, whether or not I can do that is another story. But I do think that that means we should have some sort of PB1B. Oh, yeah, that's fine. And then this will be... that. So let's take this. Oh. I don't even think I can use H Marine for this example. In fact, I don't even know where this script is run. Maybe it's run for player 2. Ah, right here. So it is for player 2, and then I should set a death for H Marine. And so we'll say this has to be PB1A. And I think I should actually I should run that trigger for the Void player, whatever the Void player is going to be. I have to find town 6 in this list. Well, we know it's not any of those. Maybe it's this? No, it's town 12. Town 1. Town 2. Town 8. Town 3. Town 10. Town 11. Town 7. Town 5. Oh. Oh, okay. I thought I was looking for 6, but I was actually looking for 7. Makes sense. Alright. Doesn't look like that changed any other numbers, which is nice. Alright, so... On the site? What do you mean? On, like, the website? I didn't even know that... Well, I figured they did have a website, but I don't think I've ever used it. What else do we got here? Close that safely. Alright, so we have to run that script for player 7. That's pretty epic, to be honest. What's up, Eltrix? Just doing some organization. Oh, I just thought of a way to do this. So there's something that I can do for the like a very gimmicky like Mickey Mouse system. So hold on. I don't actually. I'm pretty sure that's him. Okay. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to figure out. Is it's called Colin Marine? Okay. And it's been so long since I wrote this, I don't even really remember what most of this means. But, alright, so we gotta figure out who's who here. Sorry, I'm really scatterbrained right now. Waiting for the caffeine to kick in.
Let's get scratching.
Oh boy. So I'm doing Mongo right now. That's PB1E. Which means crack is PB1F. Oh, not 7. That was incorrect. Although I should set 7 to enemy. Why did you send me these settings? Should I be trying some of these? I don't even know where to get into that menu. Oh, that's better. Sometimes I do use the bookmark, but I guess I can always resume looking at that later. I don't know what multi-editing is. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I could see some very niche uses for that. And I know it supports macros, but I don't know what I would use them for. I can see scrolling beyond last line being handy in certain situations, but for the most part, I actually prefer that it ends there. Maybe if there was a way to only scroll a certain amount, but it doesn't seem like they put that in there. Like if I can scroll infinitely, presumably. Oh no, I can't. Okay. I guess that's okay then. Although I would like it to be like, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. You mean as far as your Age of Empires stuff goes, Hoop? Pretty useful for writing AI as well. In Brood War, but presumably in other games as well. Okay, so what was I'm in the middle of trying to do like a bunch of different things at once here, so I'm gonna certainly continue to confuse myself. I was trying to import this script. I don't know if I'll have to get used to that, maybe. Maybe the lack of the border there. Get ready. All right, Raw Flesh, I'm ready. People can definitely check that out at some point. I use auto-completion so much, so I definitely wouldn't want to disable that. It does sometimes do some really dumb things, but that's like user error, really. I'm pretty sure we're limited to 3 maps max for this particular project, but we'll see how much I can actually do. Oh boy. Did I forget that I already ordered a kissing station? Maybe that's supposed to be the second one, though. Hold on. Yeah, that was supposed to be the second. I don't even know what is auto insertion. All right, we are good to go, I think, in the in that department. I just wanted to save this session at some point. Oh, I wanted to open up some ace shit. Well, I don't usually code C++ in this. I do it in Visual Studio. Unless I'm copy-pasting a bunch of shit. Or I might... that session thing has a really good potential to become really heavily used by me, to be honest. Just saying. Alright, so I wanted to do the guards for this. And I wanted to also finalize colors, because I don't like the Russian green color for this particular guy. Maybe 102 will suit him better. Maybe 98. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's better. And I wanted to change the color for these clown emojis as well. So it's just blue. I don't mind that color, that could work. Although it does mean I have to go through all of these strings now. Find a re-instance of me talking and then change the color on my name. Bing bong. Yeah, no kidding. I might be able to save it as like some dumb custom extension and then associate it with Notepad++ and see if that works. I guess I could have taken these triggers and then mass replaced 0F Darien with 0E Darien. That would have saved me some fucking time. Unfortunately, I just now thought of that instead of doing that to begin with, so... Also, my mom just texted me a link to a study that says that besides primates, crows could be the smartest animal. So that's great. Even my mom simulates me. It's over. My simulation has come full circle. As soon as I saw her in the briefing screen of a Flame Knives campaign, I knew it was too late. Crack and stick with that color, nice. Cause. Wait, is there a duck emoji? There is. I found it. Bing, 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 bing. Alright, so let's finish Crack then. We've done it. Made our color changes. I can't believe I make Mongo and Mike share a base together in one of the later missions. That's funny to me. Actually, I don't remember what blue they were. I think they were Cosmic Cobalt or something. Alright. That's not even the thing that I wanted to duplicate on the other side anyway. I was looking for the unit depth. There it is. Okay, so let's do guards for the expansions. We have Weird to think about this in this way, but I'm fairly confident in saying that guards and base layouts will be relegated to very specific edge cases that can't be resolved by improved algorithms. Like, you wouldn't think that initially. You'd think they're pretty much universal or whatever. But I mean, ideally, you'd get rid of some of this work and you'd just tell them how you wanted them to set your base up. Give them certain parameters or something. Is Mixer chat fucked? Hoop Thrower was just typing in it earlier. I don't know if it's not working anymore. Try doing some... What? I wasn't talking to anybody. I was just talking to you. And whoever else is watching. I wasn't answering any questions. I was just musing on the fact that I'm putting guards in now, and this is probably not going to be something that happens too often. Like, it won't be something that happens a lot in the future, I don't think. Yeah, I was just talking about, like, telling the AI exactly where to put stuff is a really dumb thing to have to do. Buildings or guards. We have to do it now, but eventually we're going to have algorithms that save all of that work for us, and will relegate guards and base layouts and similar precision-based commands like attack 2 to very specific cases where you absolutely want to eliminate variance in a certain constant, like a certain context. Where, like, I always want the AI to take this exact path under certain circumstances. Or I always want the AI to put units in this exact position. Or I always want AI to build in this exact position. Like, pretty soon we're going to have things that... an algorithm that makes functional bases out of even some of the more arduous things to calculate. And we won't have to worry about it as much. I am a fan of that concept. Well, I don't think it would be very CPU intense, but I leave those details to iQuare. Though there is something very distinctly different about placing guards and doing this coordinate shit. You can, I don't know, for some reason it does feel very meaningful to me in some cases. But at the same time, it's also work that doesn't really translate, I don't think. Not always. I think eliminating it where possible would still be a of a benefit. Train calls don't really work for whatever reason in I mean, maybe if you call them before, like in the attack thread itself, it does delay the attack a lot. I call trains all the time, and it doesn't really always assist, unfortunately. For Zerg. For other AIs, I imagine it would. I mean, for other races. That's something that I messed around with before. I mean, but I don't think it matters. Doomorph doesn't wait, so you could call Doomorph instead of train in the attack thread. If you were not trying to make, like, freeze up the script until the certain amount of units were ready. I just have my trains running in multi-threads that loop if I have stuff like that. But normally I don't need it. Alright, so now let's take a look at this. Okay, so it was based on that. Now I believe he makes Slack groups before he makes anything else. So for this, I should also consult the town thread here. Yeah, okay, he gets a Slack group before he he orders a second Slack group before he orders his first fanfiction lounge. So in that sense, we could do these two and these two, I think. Or maybe these three. Bing bong. Yeah. No, I'm familiar with the reasoning behind using it. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I do this one? Yeah. So it's, this one is next. I think there's only 2 left in the main. Yeah, it's this one. Oh no, maybe there's this one too. Yeah, that's how I do my train threads in general is... Well, you could probably space out the weights in them or do some convoluted death count system within the AI script to make sure that the same block doesn't get called multiple times while other blocks haven't been called or something, but basically, as long as the tech requirements for the unit exist and the AI has resources and production structures, they will train the units based on that. Something tells me this was not properly ported over. Alright. I think I got all the units. Did I miss this one? I did. Alright, so that gets them all there. Easy. I use them pretty liberally, but they are dumb. So as you can see, I have to make dirt blends for these ramps. I'll do that at some point. I also have to make a version of that. These 2 tiles right here that blend with that. That's easy. Let's head over to this, I guess. Still have to make that at some point. What was left of it? Oh, the rest of his attacks. Well, we don't have to, but in many respects, you need to write a bunch of checks in order to make sure that the AI is cleared to attack. Like what you were describing, the system that you were describing for training before attacks makes some sense. But in my case, I just have a block called await attack, which for some reason isn't in this script. And it checks to make sure that there's at least 9 workers and at least 1 production structure before it commences with the attack. I can obviously make this a lot more robust, like instead of production structures in this case, I can do, fanfic, lounge, Slack group, so that it's not detecting town halls. That's probably what I should do in general. And so in this particular case, we would have like Reddit, subforum, Slack group. And it also has a minimum threshold of 200 ore before they commence an attack as well. That's kind of arbitrary, but it's just so that they're not going to get requests to build units for attacks if they're really, really low on money. So I'm sure the scripting language is good compared to some of the others that are out there, but ultimately I'm really not sold on it. I don't think that I think it should be improved. We just have to figure out how to get that done. The Slack group and the fanfiction lounge are production structures for units as opposed to factories in general, which would count the town halls. Like the town hall, which is the Facebook page, viewing party, convention center. It's a tiered town hall similar to Zerg. That shit is not, like, that counts as a factory when you check for factories, obviously. So if this wait attack block tells the AI to wait until they have, like, basically it doesn't let them proceed in this block until they have at least 1 troop production structure, military production structure, and over 200 or more minerals, in this case donuts, and 9 or more cosplayers. Or it looks like it's 10. So the cosplayer is the worker, so 10 workers. So that's the bulk of the... Like, that's what that block does, basically. Do you have 10 workers or more? Do you have 1 military production structure or more? Do you have 200 donuts or more? Until all 3 of those are true, we're gonna not proceed with the attack thread. Yeah, so that brings me to... that's a good question. One of the things that I've decided to do, or what I think I'm going to have to do in general, is we're going to have a segmented number of attacks that are like... I think it's fine to script out a certain amount of attacks in the early stages, but ultimately we probably want to just leave behind, I guess you would call them arbitrary values. You want to leave behind all that. You want to leave behind explicit attack add, in this case like 8 fanboy, right? Like, I think in general, maybe all of the attacks should be replaced with a new system, but at the very least, most of them should be replaced with a new system. Well, all that does is add 5-second delay instead of a no-second delay. It's not really going to be that big of a difference. What was the maximum weight value? I forgot. I'll just do that. Well, checking at every frame is pretty simple, but I agree. I'll set it to 24, so it checks it every second. What was I going to say? So here's a system, right? So you're probably already familiar with my EXP Rand attack system, which uses local jump in combination with attack Rand calls. It calls blocks that have attack Rand in them. Now, the attack Rand you can take or leave. You can make it explicit per structure if you want, which is more than fair, and probably something that I'll work more towards. Like, I'll reduce the amount of disparity that can happen. That's probably something that I'm going to do. Is instead of it being a wide disparity per structure, it'll probably be something like you get, I don't know, 5 or 6, right? Or 3 or 4, or like a disparity of 1 if there's any randomness at all. Unless it's like a really expendable unit that they're doing like 20 to 26 of or something. Like when the difference is not really that much. Like the difference between 2 and 6 is a lot more than 20 and 26. You know what I mean? So here's the system that I'm alluding to, right? So we're gonna call this ATK. We'll just call it ATK for now. I'll figure out if I want to do something different. Now, this block is going to handle just stuff in the main. Every attack, or mostly every attack between 1 minute and 2 minutes of this block being called gets added to by all the expansions. So what we do with ATK is first we do an attack add of 1 very basic unit. This is so that unit gets added to the attack list even if there's no units, even if there's no production structures in the main base. The attack will still get created and therefore start to be added to by the expansions. I'm not sure if it happens otherwise. You're about to see why in a second. So now we do local jump. Current town, at least. 1 fanfiction lounge plus editor. And we do this. There's 4 fanfiction lounges that can happen in here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Local jump. And I think there's 4 Slack groups. Now we return. And from this point onward, we do call ATK. Call target rand. I mean, in this case, I'm going to say target P1. Wait 500. Attack do. Attack clear. Now, in this particular case, the problem is they will never get really large attacks. That's where the explicit attacks can come in handy. But you can also change this up if you want. This is a very flexible system. So we can do something like timed jump. 20 or 15 or whatever. So say we wanted to do something like that, right? Oh, this is supposed to be... Right. I mean, we could even do this a much simpler way. Hold on. I'll do it even simpler. It's less code. I don't know if it's simpler, but... This way, the expansions will also get improved attack values based on the game state, the scale. And we could probably cap it out because there's only a certain amount of units you can add to attack waves right now, although that will eventually be expanded, hopefully sooner than we think. And on top of that, though, it's actually... there's a certain amount of points where like you're going to hit the supply cap, or there's diminishing returns like on requesting additional units because there's only so many production structures the AI gets, and so on and so forth. So... But yes, the reason why the system is better than the default system of just writing out attacks in a very prescripted sequence is it adjusts to the game state. So just like the way that I used to, like my argument for using quick attack before, I don't think quick attack is a bad idea. It's just that right now AI preparation is really flawed, so we kind of have to use this method without quick attack unless we want like 3 Zergling attack waves and stuff. This system is superior to pre-scripting out attacks because it adjusts to the game state. Just like quick attack adjusts to the game state by making it so that the AI always has a window of X amount of frames before firing its attack. Whatever it can generate in that time is what it attacks with. That was my argument for it. I believe in that argument, but right now the AI is not competent enough to make that a viable strategy. So it's a better in an ideal world, but that's not the world we live in, so we got to work with the tools we have. Well, you should never worry about like feeling like you know better or something. Like, if you have a suggestion, like you just sent me your Notepad++ settings, that's something I didn't even look at, and I'm using a bunch of them right now, and presumably it's going. I mean, it makes it certainly less cluttered, which I like, and so like that's where shit. That's a lot more fundamental in terms of like literally stuff I use every day that I haven't even configured and investigated much about. That you were able to help out with in that regard. So it's not like I don't take it personally like you're like it's some sort of ego thing where how dare you could assume you know better. I try to take in everybody's feedback where I can and point of view where I can, and that's the upside of being a part of a community in the first place is you get to have people who are doing their own thing and have their own perspectives on stuff, and you get to compare your worldview or perspective on whatever subject it may be. Obviously, I'm making a very large statement out of a small interaction, but you get the idea, hopefully. So in the future, if you do have something like that you want to share, feel free to do so. And as far as being as good as me in terms of map making, I wouldn't worry about like my position in relation to yours. I would just say like, I'm still improving just like you're still improving. And we can obviously improve better if we work together. Again, that's part of what is being good about, or that's one of the pros to being in a community, versus the cons. So I already think that you've improved pretty heavily based on the last couple of maps I played compared to the stuff that I was playing earlier this year. So you're on the right track. And just because you're not there yet doesn't mean it's a big bad deal, you know what I mean? We'll say 5.8 instead. Those are expensive units. So with this system, though, we have like a prescripted first attack, and we can add as many first attacks as we want as time goes on, right? And we would even want to do something like in this case, it's target rand, right? And then call ATK, call target prep. 500. You can say like random jump 85 KR loop. What else do we have? Yeah, I mean it's mostly just a loop, and like in this case, I am going to add an extra thing where it's sorry, call ATK, call target P1, because I want a specific sequence in the early game, and there's probably a better way to do this as well, where it can be like time jump in the very specific early game, or use the more precise time command from iQuare, where you compare frames. Stuff like that would be useful. But I think in this case, this is more adaptive anyway to the more dynamic, because if the attacks delay because of the wait attack block, because of early action or something, then it scales over and they still attack in a very specific sequence. So I'll go wait 100. Target player. And then in this case, we can even do like wait rand 60 360. And there you go. Now, aside from doing my targeting regions, I really don't have anything to worry about. So. Now, since we did this after writing all of the other AIs the more conventional way, we can actually track which AIs do better. Obviously, I would expect that Crack would do better than all of the other AIs. And I can also do the same thing with the Cullen AI. I can script out Cullen's AI with the same method, and then compare that to Darian's performance in this case. I'm going southwest. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about, where to reduce volatility, you might want to do that. I mentioned, like, you probably want to have it be a fairly small range. It is a fairly small, well, it's smaller than it was. I would say it's a fairly small range right now. Difference of like 3 or 4 units each time. And the difference kind of grows depending on the class of unit it is. But, like, if it's a cheap unit, then the difference can be more significant without being impactful in the grand scheme of things, in terms of like significantly changing the situation. Little things like that will always improve your ability to reward scouting and knowledge of the AI and it being attentive, because that little variance makes it so that you can't prescribe every single event, and like obviously it's dynamic based on number of production structures, but we don't currently have a simple method, nor is it always advisable either, to vary the number of production structures constructed in a main based on build order or anything like that. Like the methods we would have to use would be really convoluted ones, like I did for the Ultramarine AI in Zergo 1, the redo that's bugged right now. Or it would have to be stuff like the... like obviously like a bunch of random jumps or something in the middle of the main to completely different town threads. So because we can't randomize that value of production structures, we have to rely on randomizing a little bit of the attack threads or the attack quantities so that scouting will help you determine if you even need... Like, think about it this way. If you're just going to blanketly state, I'm going to defend this area from attacks because this is where I'm likely to be attacked from, knowing how many resources or worth of units you can spend on that while still maintaining it is a really important information piece, because that means that you can leave as little as possible while still defending effectively, and you take the rest of your resources worth of units and invest them into other action elsewhere on the map. But if you don't know that, and it is usually up to like it's usually unknown, an unknown value, then that makes it harder for you to leave just the skeleton crew required to hold things together, because you don't know what that skeleton crew actually needs to look like, what the bare minimum is. So in that context, scouting can help you tell that. Whereas otherwise you could theoretically do, based on rote memorization, the correct moments or correct movements. If you want to make your map solvable that way, that would be how you would do it, by making everything very exact and explicit. You probably wouldn't even use this particular system if you wanted to make your map as open to that sort of behavior as possible. But I want my maps to require that engagement in order to properly set up your defenses in just the bare minimum way, because that is the most efficient way in theory, is to just do what you just barely need to squeeze by and to be self-sustainable or whatever. So if you can figure out a way to do that, then that you're rewarded for that naturally by being able to use your other units elsewhere. What would you use that for as like a jump or a conditional or whatever? What would you jump ahead of? Yeah, well, I mean, I always disagreed with Necron's approach on that, even before we were at odds with each other on a personal level. I always had that professional disagreement with him. I mean, he wrote out an explanation that you probably already read, since I'm sure he linked you to the send thread at some point. But he wrote it on Stardate. He wrote a thread about his... in his UEDA IP thread, he goes over his philosophy, how he views RTS games as puzzles on a fundamental level, and how one of the unique elements of RTS, as far as a puzzle-like game or a puzzle experience goes, is the speed that is not normally present in puzzle games, where you have to be quick in terms of execution. I don't know if he ever figured out that by doing the system the way that he does, and by conceiving of it in that way, you are literally reducing the interaction into QuickTime events and things where the player must do X in certain situations in order to win, and having it be rote memorization. But none of his content was ever appealing to me. None of his content that was like that. And ironically enough, the content that he was least satisfied with on a personal level that he made was usually content that I liked more, because it wasn't like that. But that's just how it is, I guess. So, differing opinions for sure. We could then check if supply matches some value depending on the time of the game. Oh, so like, you're talking about like before calling attack due or whatever, setting the attack time out to some absurdly high value so that it never times out, and then not calling attack due until the supply is at least a certain amount. Like, you'd basically have something like in this particular case, if we go back up to the attack at 8 fanboy, each fanboy is 1 supply, right? So instead, we would do like attack timeout 9999, and then we would do attack supply 13 at least wait 8 blank, something like that, and then you would do attack due after a certain delay. Listen, we've talked that side of things to death. The personal problem is all based on what he was doing. And obviously it takes two to tango, but I think I've laid out my case already. So I don't know if the game considers an attack. Well, you have to realize attack prepare is what commits the attack list in the first place. So yeah, train would have to be required in this particular case. But I don't think that attack supply would even work in this context if it was reading an attack list, because the attack list isn't even committed. It might still exist in memory before you call attack prepare. I would assume it must, but I don't know if attack supply would have to be built to read that, basically. So I don't know how that would work out in theory, but good luck, I guess, is all I'll say there. You. Fucking stupid song. It's West Island. Colin 3rd North. West Island, Cullen, Natural North. Do you want to die? You. I don't know what you mean by your approach, but I am a very reasonable person, that is for sure. I agree. Without knowing what you're talking about, I agree. Hi. Dude, I forgot they end that particular track with hi. What a fucking simulation. Man, although I gotta admit, when the conditions for considering life a simulation are that random people say hi and bye and n and like random letters of the alphabet, like at some point you gotta admit that maybe you're making the conditions too broad. There's some things that are clear simulations that are absolutely absurd. Like anything that refers to blowing bears from now on is definitely a simulation, because that's so very specific. It's not something that would come up in everyday conversation. Just like an excessive amount of crows, like that's definitely really psychotic, and nobody would ever do that. Well, it's less code, for sure. With the higher attack timeout, it increases the likelihood that the AI will actually build up that supply. The problem is it still grinds the whole thing to a halt. And I guess, so in addition to attack do, you would also have to do quick attack to fix up the attack timeout thing. Or set the attack timeout to like 30 instead of 9999. Like at that point, you have to call attack timeout again and set it. So it's something lower. Yeah, I know. It's just how it is. But it's because, like, before, it wasn't something in your head, so, of course. It wasn't even a stimulus you considered. I'll just say west for that one. Why does this bitch keep telling me to breathe? Anybody know? man, I really have to pee now. Maybe she's saying pee instead. So this is crack in south. All right, that's pretty good. Well, I guess this is done in theory. Oh. Okay. Cool. Yeah, no kidding. I agree with that much. The program is way too fucking dumb for this. Alright, I don't know why Steam is still running. I'll close that out of that. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. I'll be back. All right. Hello. We're back. So, with that done, we could theoretically test this. See how it goes. Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out why that that issue was happening. With the queuing? You. I'm also back. Welcome back. You. All right. Let's hope we don't crash.
In the aftermath of Todd's retconning, the enemy clans are in disarray, and Cullen sets out on his third quest to restore his city to glory.
Okay, you actually, though.
Guys, I can play! Holy shit!
Hey, Cullen, do you think...
Oh, wait, hold on. No, I can't. Hold on, I have to delete every fucking unit. Bing, 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 bong. You can enjoy that background noise while you wait. Yeah, do you like that one? I think it's funny. Bing, 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 bing. But I thought did a good job with the music in this, I think. Yeah, he's got some natural affinity for it.
Impressive.
Alright, well, tell your friends, because I'm almost done.
Hurry it up!
Hey!
Hello?
I was just about to say that, you ED. But yeah, tell your friends, man. We're about to Todborne it up. And I hope that they all join this stream and they grab their popcorn, they get super excited to watch, and then it crashes. That's what I hope. Hope that happens.
Your brain is completely destroyed.
You. Almost done. I just gotta clear out last of Cullen's structures. Get rid of the fucking bear. Oh wait, I didn't even clear up Mongo. SMH. Imagine I just left the AI the way that they were. Their whole fucking army pre-placed. Talking about pre-placed brigades around here.
Prepare to die!
You?
You.
Ever since I got these new headphones, everything is so much louder. Almost deleted a donut. Leave a couple of these chuckle fucks around for each faction. In fact, I don't even know what that means for their supply. I guess it's alright. Let me place 4 workers for the police. And we're good. I think. I'll do a preview fog check real quick. That usually helps out. All good. Oh, there was a dog. A bazooka bike. Nice.
Hey, Cullen, do you think there are any expansions on this map?
Oh, that
Probably.
that didn't work.
Wait, didn't I just expand?
No. Morning, sir. I've got our battle plans drawn up, and
Hey, wait a minute. Where's my pizza?
Engineer
hey, Cullen,
here.
you're looking for pizza too. I got a voicemail
Are you
telling
my
me to come
dog?
get some. I don't see him.
You know, now that I think about it, that voicemail sounded like it was you.
You actually,
Why am I not shared vision with him?
sir?
Engineer.
We're supposed to be fighting enemy. Didn't you get the briefing?
There was a briefing. All I remember is smashing my father in the face.
Well, I guess you'll find out later.
Engineer here. What's up?
I'm not shared vision with my ally. This is a problem. One sec. Force 1. Oh, it's player 4 instead of player 2. Mongols. I'll turn it on for everybody in the force. 8. Okay. Alright, that fixed that. Why the fuck did it trip the Cullen expands line? Player 3 has suffered at most 3 deaths of fanfiction publisher. Okay, so it got set. Player 1 commands at least 2 police stations. Well, I definitely didn't command at least 2 police stations. So how? How? I don't get that one. Well, it sounds like to me that particular trigger gets set, like that death gets set in the wrong action. So publisher. No, there's nothing. You're not allowed to say any of that. The earphones I got were, I think they're Panasonic or something. There is a For Canada thing. That's pretty good. Yeah, they're Panasonic earphones. They like change shape over time to conform to your ear canal. But they were like $12 or something, $15. It was pretty cheap. Usually they're more expensive. All right, so I don't know why that happens. I definitely don't command 2 stations, so unless there's like 2 stacked up on top of each other, which there are not. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I could sort through the unit index to be sure, but yeah, there's only 2 on the map. So very confused. Alright, we'll just play through it and see what happens.
Hey, Cullen, do you think there are any expansions on this map?
Probably not. Wait, didn't I just expand?
No.
Oh,
For once, I was
Morning,
correct.
sir. I've got our battle plans drawn up, man.
hey, wait a minute. Where's my pizza?
Hey, Cullen,
Engineer
you're
here.
looking for pizza too. I got a voicemail telling me to
Um,
come. I don't see it.
You know, now that I think about it, that voicemail sounded like it was you.
You actually.
God damn it,
Engineer
Dad.
here.
Seems like the triggers are fucked.
We're supposed to be fighting anime. Didn't you get the briefing?
There was a briefing. All I remember is smashing my father in the face.
Well, engineer
Guess you'll
here.
find out later.
What's up? Hey, howdy, hey. Woo!
Well, I guess we have a spy.
Engineer here.
Would be hilarious if it just gets open fired on. Hey, look, they already are building their Slack group,
Open up some more donut shops, will you?
which I forgot to give a build animation, apparently. Construction animation. Easy enough to fix. Units.
What's
Do that while I'm waiting for my donut shop to finish.
Woo! Structure all set. Engineer here.
Alright, I fixed that.
What's next?
Hi. Bye.
Engineer here. Structure all set. What's up? Here we go. Well, all right. We need more
Donuts!
Oh, absolutely.
I've played a lot of Starcraft today,
Yeah,
man.
no, like, yeah.
Engineer here. Engineer.
I don't know if I audited the early game of these AIs, actually. I mean, I know I didn't audit them in practice, but I don't know if I paid very close attention to the
Engineer here.
setup here.
What's up? Well, all right. Structure all set. Engineer here.
You know I'm building dogs.
Structure all set. Hey, howdy, hey. Engineer here. What's next? Hey, howdy, hey. We need more
Donuts!
Oh, absolutely. For action. I can't put that there. Engineer here. Structure all set.
I like that the icon is a police shield for the supply. That brings me great satisfaction.
Reporting for action.
Engineer here.
Lifespan next time, moron! Better lifespan next time, moron! Yeah, no,
On
like, yeah.
duty. Reporting for action.
Structure all set. Reporting for action. Hey, howdy, hey. Here we go. What's up? Here we go. Well, all right.
Car, by the way.
Here we go.
For me.
I like that when the dog finishes training, it's just me saying "caw." By the way,
Here we go.
that is some serious fucking weirdo moments.
Barking at me?
Where'd the fucking bird go?
Engineer here.
No.
Structure all set. What's up?
Car, by the way.
Look, I'm me. I'm building dogs.
Are you my dog?
Car, by the way.
Engineer
Reporting for
here.
action.
Engineer.
Safety's off, sir.
Freeze.
Smash.
Structure all set.
This guy does not seem to be too interested in doing anything. It's probably some obvious issue with his script.
Reporting for action. Yes, sir.
These abandoned buildings might be all that's left of the first responders. We should look for survivors.
Hey, Cullen, do you think there are any survivors on this map?
Probably not.
Bye.
Car, by the way.
Safety's off, sir. Got any donuts?
you hope to accomplish by attacking my expansion?
In real-time strategy games, denying your enemy's expansion can reduce the amount of resources they are able to harvest. Doing this often results in your enemy's armies being more limited, as they will have less resources to spend on upgrading, changing tech paths, and additional unit production.
But I'm an AI, so I must not require resources.
Yeah, but Darian made this map, so...
No.
About to be a crime scene.
Beware, my enemy! The police have come to arrest us and take away our cartoons!
What? That's crazy talk! My men will never watch anime!
Yeah. Never. Wait.
I said red.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess I'm just killing myself.
These dogs do not seem to...
Why did it scream?
Oh, okay, bye.
Does it die?
Forgot to replace that
Donuts?
Hey, hold on.
tile set.
Donuts!
Well, guess we need to kill them all.
On duty. About to be a crime scene. Lieutenant?
Upgrades complete!
There'll be much walking. Yes, sir.
I'm glad you like that.
There'll be much walking.
Freeze!
You
I'm going this way.
Is this your dog?
There'll be much
Yeah.
walking. Hello? There'll be much walking. Hello?
Ah!
You act.
Upgrades complete!
Safety's off, sir.
Freeze!
Smash. It's about to be a crash. Hello?
Killed all my production.
Really?
Why? Did that line sound convincing?
Dog just spinning.
Heck yes. Could have used more emotion. I'd have done it a second time, personally.
You try sounding emotional while doing this Mongol accent.
Oh, let me try. It is I, Mungo. I am an idiot. I should get a better brain next time. Me.
Oh, damn it.
Safety's off, sir. On duty. Freeze!
Get him.
There'll be much walking.
Dogs line. Oh, oops. Friendly fire, by the
There'll
way.
be much walking. It's about to be a
talking. On duty. Ah! Safety's off, sir. Smash. Structure off.
I really like the idea that the dog is just speaks in my voice. I might actually keep that for the final bit, just because that's funny to me. Annihilated.
Boys need backup. Safety's off, sir.
Why did he spin though? Why didn't he make anything?
Yes, sir.
What the? I guess it's raining really loudly, guys. Hope you like that.
Yes, sir. Perhaps crack is crack after all.
Ha! Get a better crack next time, idiot.
What?
Hey, where'd you go?
Oh, okay, bye.
Crack's still here. Crack think about what crack has done and what crack means.
Yeah, the triggers are definitely fucked up. I'm gonna have to fix that. But I just fixed the Zerg construction thing. A quick breakdown of Adobe Audition. Well, this is the version I use, 1.5. It's basically a slightly uncucked Cool Edit 2.1. Also slightly more unstable than that program. Tism. So, first thing before you even record, you should go into Options, Device Order, and make sure that you have your in this case, this is what I have for playback devices. You'll see playback and recording. Don't worry about MIDI. That's only for music, and odds are you're not going to use this program for music anyway. So for playback, you want to make sure you're using your whatever you want to use for speakers or headphones or whatever. For most people, this is the same device. If you plug in headphones, you're plugging it into the computer's speaker jack, and it's overriding that. But for me, I plug them into the microphone specifically, so I have that. And then you just click Use in EV when you're selected the right one, and it'll have this EV bracket thing. EV stands for Edit View. This is what you're seeing behind me, where you have the actual waveform. It's what you use to edit the individual waveforms. Then in recording, you want to do the same exact thing, sort everything to the left, and then sort the one that you want to use for recording, which would be your microphone, to here, and then hit Use in EV, and hit OK. And then you can hit record. When I do record for a new waveform, I always set it to 22050. This is for 161 only. For remastered and for other games, you can probably go higher. I wouldn't go much higher than 48K, just because at that point you hit diminishing returns for most people's sound setups, including probably your own. Whereas the difference between 22 and 44.1 is pretty heavy. But 22, StarCraft can support, I think, any amount, but there's certain frequencies that you can only hit if you're in higher ranges. And so what you'll hear about a lot of the times is like if you compare a set of sound files that are done in 22K, you compare those to 32K or 44.1K, you're going to see a lot of differences in just how they feel on a visceral level, especially if they're played alongside other sound files from 22K. And 22K is the hertz, the frequency range of StarCraft. So you want to keep within that frequency range. Sample rate, yeah. So you set this when you are making a new waveform, which happens when you have no document open and you hit the red record button in the bottom left, or when you hit Control-N for new. And so this is where I always set it to mono. You can do stereo 22K. You can't do stereo 32K. StarCraft can support mono 32K, but again, it's going to clash with the other sound files. And I don't think I've ever changed it from 16-bit, but maybe the original were 8-bit. I don't remember. But this seems to work out fine. Mono, 22K, 16-bit. You can do stereo, like I said. That's what I would recommend for sound effects that are meant to be oscillated in different realms where they're offset. But I think the engine does that for you for certain sounds anyway. I always do mono as my default, and then I go up to stereo if necessary. So once we record a line, since I don't really care about quality assurance here, I'm just going to record a line. So I'll... let's see. How do you convert an existing file? That's very easy. I can answer that first before I record something. So in Hydra, if we go to sound, so a lot of the sound files. Oh yeah, I forgot. For some reason, it doesn't let me drag and drop. I don't know why. We'll probably never know why. So these sound files are in 2205. So I don't actually know. Trying to think of like a sound file that I for sure know is in 32K, because you might even be able to see the difference in the waveform itself, but that's probably a trained eye thing. I can go into the stuff that I did for Full Toilet. That's definitely like that. So, for example, we can do a Control O to open. By the way, that's pretty standard. We'll take Ahmed's line here.
All right, let's stick it to him.
This is in 32K. We'll make a new document. We'll make it as 22K, and we will paste, and it'll downsample.
All right, let's stick it to him. All right, let's stick it to him.
You can hear the frequency range difference. At least I can. It's very simple. YouTube might be fucking with the audio a little bit, but it should be apparent that this one sounds a little bit like almost tinnier or old-timeier. There's no coincidence. It's because of the frequency range, in addition to the way that the Brood War sounds were recorded compared to like the actual hardware used. The frequency range has a big part to play there as well. So this will make it sound a little bit more uniform with the other sound files, which will help your sound staging to make sure that things don't sound too fucked. So that's one of the reasons why my sound transmissions always sounded a little bit different, and not necessarily in a good way, from Blizzard's own. In some ways it's good to stand out, but you can do that without fucking up with the frequency ranges, and it actually can get confusing. Thankfully 32K and 40 and 22K, those are the only two that I ever did use sound files. I think maybe I used 48K at some, or 44.1. I might have used 44.1 at some point. What you'll actually find about is you'll find actually that if you go through and listen to briefings of, even in Consummate, I think has this problem because I recorded it in 48 or 44.1. With frequency ranges that are higher than 32K, Starcraft actually can have this bug where it repeats the last second of audio or last half second of audio at the end of the transmission. I'm pretty sure that at least I've never seen that happen as a result of using 32K or 22K. So that bug, if you've ever heard about it or ever experienced it, that's eliminated outright. Presumably Remaster doesn't have this issue, but obviously we're talking about within a 161 environment. So that's how you, obviously that gets unwieldy for actually trying to do it, that conversion that you were just asking about gets unwieldy. So what you can do is you can open up, you can get Foobar 2000, which is I'm pretty sure it's a free program. And there is a batch option, or it's not really an option, but you would basically take, like if I wanted to go in and re-encode all of these sound files, right, because they're in 32K. So I would do this. I would put them all in Foobar. It would process them, and then it would have them already selected, which is really nice, so I don't have to reselect them. I would right-click, and I would do convert, and I already have a preset here, but I can go to ... to make a new preset. And basically all you have to do for preset is you go into output format, you set it to WAV, 16-bit, again, because remember 16-bit is what we recorded in too, if we're recording a new one. So I go just come back to this video when you have Foobar 2000 installed. I know you're not going to be able to follow along with this shit if you don't already have the program installed. But basically, WAV 16-bit, and then dither never back. Then destination, I make a folder on the desktop. You can do whatever you want for this. It even gives you a nice little nifty preview of what the sound files will look like. Processing, you want to do resample. So this is similar to that audition window we saw. We're going to scroll down here until we find resampler dB power amp SSRC. I'm going to plus that. And then we're going to take this and set it target sampling rate to 22K. And that's all we need to do there. And then other, just transfer metadata, transfer attached pictures. Those aren't really important, but I never needed to mess with those. So then you do convert, and it will convert all of them. And then I can delete them from my playlist, so it's not there next time I open the program. And now, if I can then cut these 32K, put them in there, and then find the folder, and now they're all in. They're all in 22K. So that's a way to do it in a batch process manner. You need foobar for that, though. Audition doesn't support that as far as I know. If it does, who knows what it actually would do. It might take forever. Foobar is much faster. So that's how you convert those. What else? So yeah, recording a line. So that's all you need to know as far as before you even start recording, like the actual process of recording. We're going to close this file, and we're going to do, again, sample rate, 22K, channels mono, resolution 16-bit. And then down here is the record button. And you do, again, there's going to be all sorts of background noise, but we can just do like...
In a world where medicine finds a 3, you...
So I left a lot of empty space at the end here. And you can see this is a little spike at the very far right is where I hit the space bar. It picks that up. So we'll delete that. We're going to take this spike. I try to give myself 5 to 10 seconds of silence of me not making any noise. I even hold my breath and everything. I go crazy about it. Then we go into noise reduction, capture noise reduction profile, and then we'll select the whole thing. And all we have to worry about here is you can copy these things exactly, but I set it to 85. Sometimes I have to tweak this to 95 or 75 if it's intense background noise and it's filtering out too much, but reduced by 40 dB, 71065% spectral, 49.6, remove noise, and then we do OK. And that helps clean up our file. Again, obviously, ideally, you're not going to be worrying about all of this extra shit. Now then we do, I have enter as a silence hotkey. I guess I could probably open up my keyboard shortcuts. I'm not even sure where those would be, though. I think there's like favorites. You have to make an effect a favorite and then use the... There's like a hotkey to using it. But I think mine is like L and... Oh, no, it's not L. I don't even know what that hotkey is. I've hit the button so many times. But basically, you go through here, apply silence is enter. Capture noise reduction profiles, alt N. I didn't know about that, so you can do that if you want to. I'm trying to find my other hotkeys here. Oh, we might be getting to them. No, maybe not. I may have missed them. I'm not sure where they are. But you can basically customize this shit this way, should you desire to. I would think it would be in favorites or something, but I guess not. Anyway, that silence thing is really handy for silencing out entire sections. So that's what I do there. And I'm going to erase the breaths. This takes some getting used to if you've never done it before, but it's super easy for me. And I have a fade in, fade out as my... whatever the keys are below your bracket keys. So like, I think it's apostrophe and backslash. So my apostrophe is fade in and my backslash is fade out. And that I use to deal with certain reverbs or whatever. Yeah, you can edit in adjust sample rate. I haven't tested it out with that though. No, one over. So for me, there is semicolon, but then there's apostrophe and backslash. Those are the ones that I use. I don't think there's no function to my semicolon key. So yeah, you can find that. Maybe I can go looking again. I don't think so though. You would think I would have noticed. I think I did see a slash at some point though, but I think it was like an alt command. It might be in a different window though. It might be at like favorites, edit favorites. Oh yeah, right here. So you can actually do you set up a favorite, which I believe you do in like I don't think you can do it there. Yeah, so like fade in here, and then you do. There's like some way to add this to favorites, but I don't remember how to. Maybe it's a button that's right in front of me, and I don't see it. I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, I guess you could make a new one right from here if you wanted to. But yeah, that's basically it. So then that's how you do it. Okay, so that's basically just what I use. That's for my ease of use because I'm already over near the enter key. So then I can do like bing, bing, bing if I need to, right? So I can do all of those. Okay, so those are already in favorites by default. Yeah. Easy enough. So then we have, so there's a couple of things that you can do as like tricks. Sometimes you'll get sound files, usually from other sources, not from your own. Not from your own recording, but some microphones probably have this issue. And you'll see that there's an option in Amplify/Fade called Center Wave. Now, this is useful if there's a situation where you have like something like this. Imagine like if you take this really big spike in here, and if it was all the way up to the top and there was nothing on the bottom for it, that would be an issue potentially for trying to normalize the volume. And by normalization, I mean like keeping everything relatively similar. So that would be what I would recommend doing if you run into that issue. You'll probably notice it when you see it. It's kind of like again, it's like if the top waveform is much higher than the bottom waveform, then it needs to be centered. And you can mostly do that by just selecting the whole thing. And sometimes you have to manually apply it. But really, there's not much of a change here because there isn't really that issue when I'm recording with my own microphone. So that's something that more for like audio processing for sound effects. Now, when it comes to my basic filter shit, what I mostly use more than anything else is probably Auto-Tune. That's like the basis for all of my effects. And as you can see, I have a huge number of presets over here from varying degrees. I don't think any of these are like, there's the default one, right? But I don't even think it does anything. I could be wrong. It might do some small things. Now, Auto-Tune isn't just for singers. It's something that you can use to really significantly change your voice, as you probably heard if you listen to any of the modern music that's out there. But so, for example, here's my Greater Evil preset. It's very, very pretentious, very, very over the top. So we're going to process that and now compare the result.
In a world where medicine finds a 3, you.
So we can definitely work with this. Now, before we do that, though, I should mention something that I do all the time for pretty much everything. Before I even go into Auto-Tune, this is how I process every sound file that gets sent to me as a voice line, even if it's not me speaking. I go into FFT filter under filters. I go to general mic rumble, which by default, I believe is, there's like some, oh man, I deleted the old one. There is a version of this FFT filter. I think it's like kill the mic rumble or something like that. You use this to get rid of the like the feedback that you get when you use poo titties. You get that like weird feedback rub up. And so you use that to deal with that.
Where medicine finds a 3.
So it's most notable over here.
3.
You heard like it's just me breathing on the microphone.
A 3.
So that's heavily reduced after you use FFT filter. And then graphic equalizer, I also use this. I use my one test, but I think it's a very, I don't know if it's not even edited much. I did fuck with the gain, I think. But it's basically destination home theater. So you can fuck with this on your own time if you want to. I probably should edit it a little bit more, but I mostly just stuck with it because it's fairly basic. And by processing all of my audio with this particular thing, it keeps it consistent in ways where it wouldn't normally if I was taking it from other sources, like somebody like UED Commander I voice act for him sometimes. And for alternate, he sent me a lot of samples to edit from other people, himself included. So this helped make everything uniform in that sense. This is a technique I developed during the development of Inconsummate. Now, you might want something that modifies the sound file a little bit less aggressively than this one does, and you can feel free to explore with that. And maybe you find you don't even need that, but that's something that helped me out. And yeah, I'm actually not even sure. I think you can... Is there an export thing? I don't know. You'll have to tell me how to do that if you already found out how to do it. So I've never done that before. But that would be a lot easier than me giving you screenshots. Yeah, graphic equalizer, it's destination home theater. I just called it 1_test because for one, I was testing it. And for another, it's a lot easier to find it in the fucking list of really, really long, like laundry list over here. If I just scroll to the top all the time. So after I process all my audio that way, I then can do the auto tune like we talked about, Greater Evil. And then say we want some reverb. So the first thing I do if I'm going to be adding reverb is I copy it to a new layer. We should, before we even do that, we should select the whole waveform, copy to new. And then we can do reverse. Well, before we do that, I do like to do some choruses. So like this is my Protoss preset. It was developed by Mesk, I think, and I tweaked it from there. So I do that.
In a world where medicine finds a 3.
So you can hear that there's quite a metallic sort of flang to that a little bit of extra. And then here I do my metallic flange or flang. I don't even know how you would pronounce that, but I'll do the lower one this time. That's a very heavy edit, as you can see.
World where medicine finds a 3.
So then we do reverse reverb, and I'll do Protoss Lesser 1. And we reverse reverb it both ways. And then we can do an echo. We'll say the Alderis test 1. And then what we do, we basically just do whatever effects we want to do. So don't worry too much about the particulars. But then in dynamics processing, what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, and I have a general voice work one. I think this is based on Uber Punch. If you scroll down, there's an Uber Punch 1. I messed around with that. This is based on frequency ranges. So again, you don't want to, like, you're going to be working within 22K. So this will mostly only, like the frequency range part, will only fuck around with frequencies if you're recording outside of that. So like all of my audio for my podcast and stuff is recorded outside of that, and my game commentary. So if I have to edit any of that, it's done through like 48K or 96K or something like that. Like my microphone actually feeds in, I think, at a really high bit rate. If I go to my microphone, yeah, it's at 48K. So by default, you're getting double of what this is. And I basically just cut out that top half because my voice is suited to that, generally speaking. Now, I might even want to increase this cutoff, make it so that it's like 32K or something. But either way, it doesn't really matter that much because for StarCraft editing anyway, that's not what we're using it for. We're using it for the limiting of the waveform in terms of like normalization of audio. So we're going to do that. And then we normalize it to about 80. And then I like to hard limit so that it's at a peak volume for the in-game to match the sound files of everything else. So this is the hard limit preset I do. And then after I do that, I normalize it again, this time to 90. Well, I think for the second layer, we can do 99 because that doesn't matter too much. And then because this is the second layer, this is actually going to get crossfaded into the main track. So we're going to subtract 12. And we're going to go back to the original version. And we're going to do very light edits to this one. I'm going to do a simple reverse reverb and not do it the other way around. We're going to do Cerebrate reverse, sure. And then we're going to do the same dynamics processing that we were just doing. Set it to 85, hard limit, set it to 90. And then up here, there's an option called mix paste. Control-Shift-V is the hotkey. And we're going to set that volume to 100. And then here it is. And then we're going to normalize this to 99. And now we're going to listen to our final-ish production.
In a world where medicine finds a 3, you...
So what we got out of that is we got a heavy reverb on the bass track, and like the very initial one, and then we get that metallic reverb sort of extra bit from the second layer. that we wouldn't get normally, which is why we do that mixed paste layer. And another thing that we could do if we wanted to, increase how much that was felt is we could have added a heavier echo, and we could have actually done a reverse echo, and we could have done a whole bunch of extra stuff in the second layer before pasting it in. So that's basically how we get the final product here.
In a world where medicine finds a 3, you.
So now there's definitely ways that you could improve that. Like obviously that was done in a way where I was recording it quickly and without adjusting my volumes or anything, and trying to silence the reverb in the background. So why don't what I could do is probably I could find these raw files here, and you know what I'll do is I'll go through. I think I saved the process for. Hold on. Oh, I must have kept this in the Hydra folder. We're gonna reconstruct Kag's voice, because I actually did this on stream at some point, but I didn't really go into details, and I didn't do a step by step. So if I go to audio, oh no, it's probably a multiplayer audio. Now what was this? Okay, that was not what I was looking for. I'm wondering where I left the the preset sound files, or whatever the presets. Because I actually left the documentation somewhere. We might have to do Zaz instead if I don't have the actual shit here. I really didn't document that? I swear I must have. That's really weird. Because I would have, I could have sworn that I would have put it in here in this presets folder. Maybe I just copied the Zaz one and I just changed the auto tune. That seems. We'll try to reconstruct it. We'll see what we can do, because I would like to try to redo Kag anyway. Not in the sense where I feel like he needs it, but in a sense where I feel like he can benefit from it for the demonstration. So we're gonna open up both waveforms. So this is the raw waveform.
So the firstborn's fallen have joined the battle against us.
And we're going to compare this to here.
So the firstborn's fallen have joined the battle against us.
As far as the voice acting here, I think I could have made the delivery a little bit more prolonged. Obviously, that would have extended the length, but I think that would have sounded natural. He actually sounds a bit more natural when he's talking a little bit more prolonged. Like
Your
here.
corpse will feed my brood like all the others.
So here we're going to pop into the auto-tune here. I'm pretty sure I gave him a deeper approach. Maybe I didn't, though. Like, maybe it actually is the Tuzor auto-tune. But again, we have to graphic equalize, then do that. And then copy to new. Oh, right. I have to pitch stretch it. Yeah, RAW doesn't have autotune or the graphic equalize. It just has the FFT filter, and I've gone through and silenced all of the inner parts and done my fade outs and stuff. Although sometimes I do that in post after everything, because I don't really hear certain things until they've already been normalized. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So now we can copy it to new. When I have an equal sign here, it means I'm doing this to the copy. So it looks like I did a whole bunch of weird shit to this. Cerebrit lower. Flanger overmind. Original 70%. So there's like on the flanger, there's a slider where it changes. Like original means closer to the original sound, and expanded, or there's like some others that are like delayed. Expanded or delayed means like it's more transformed. So that controls how much that is. And these individual things, I'm sure they mean something in actuality, but I basically just tweak the settings rather, by like all that shit. I tweak that based on feeling more than anything. And then we're going to do another echo to the Alderis preset. And then reverse reverb lesser 2. I'm glad that I think I auto-tuned this shit a lot because I wanted to make it so that that second voice had a very different character or something. Graphic EQ, let's do that again. And then... Although really, I think I should be able to, before I even do that, I might want to do... a slight extra bit of auto-tune, because I don't feel like the bass voice is deep enough. Autotune has a ton of parameters. As you can see, it's like this whole fucking thing. This is a VST plugin, by the way. This isn't... all the VST things here, isotope ozone, which is used for crushing sibilants. Sibilants are where like you have too much of an sound at the end of like actually saying the word sibilants gives you that, where there's like a little bit of a squeak. And usually it's specific speech patterns that add to it, or aggravate it. But it's present in everything. Isotope ozone is a good way to do it. It's also a fucking tongue twister. Autotune, Spaceman 2. I don't remember. I think I have those plugins. I have to have them locally installed, so I'll package those up. I think I even have a link to them somewhere. Try going to effects and then refresh effects list. See if it helps. What did I just do? Normalize.
So, the Firstborn's fallen have joined the battle against us.
Oh, you know what I fucked up here? It was I have to mix, paste, copy 300 milliseconds. That's right. I'm going to wait until so like in this case, we're creating an offset by pasting in the second layer later on in the sound file.
So, the Firstborn's fallen have joined the battle against us.
And then we're just going to add that little bit of last echo.
So, the Firstborn's fallen have joined the battle against us. Test us the way the rest of your race could not.
Yeah, that's close enough, I think. So here's an example where you like this is a example of a waveform that's fucked up because of that hard impact from the mic rumble, and it very much does not sound like a Cerebrate speaking or thinking at you if you're hearing that. So that does break immersion. So again, you can try to use the FFT filter to fix that, and I do it a few times, and you can also select different bits of it to try and isolate it.
Test.
And now it's almost completely gone in terms of distortion. There's still a little bit there, but it's less noticeable.
Test us the way the rest of your race could not.
And that makes it feel a lot less, like it's much less likely to be noticed. You have to have a trained ear. You have to actually do this a lot in order to hear that.
Your corpse will feed my brood like all the others. The brave Protoss is a meal after all. Fuel for the swarm.
I actually like that take better in general. This round of edits. But yeah, if you're having trouble looking at the VST plugins, make sure that you do effects and then refresh effects list, and it will do this process, and eventually it will do so. Maybe it'll crash for me. Who knows? It is an interesting and mysterious program. Also, expect it to crash a lot. Save often. It does have a backup system, but it's not always reliable. And sometimes it takes you to a backup from way before you were even working on shit. And it'll say finish with refresh, and you might see a VST folder here. How do you bind silence? Oh yeah, so in you go to options, keyboard shortcuts, and MIDI triggers. Make a new set and save it as or something. Then go into effects from this category, apply silence, and then press new shortcut key, enter. There's probably none present, but you can clear it if you need to. As far as no VST, which folder did you put it in? Because it has to be in a particular folder to be seen. It should be in put it in program files x86 and then VST plugins and put all of them in here. And then I don't remember even how to. Oh, add remove VST directory. You can so it's in, if you go to effects, add remove VST directory. You have to wait. I misclicked there. You have to add that specific thing. So if you haven't done that step, that would be why it isn't seeing them. You can technically put it wherever. That's just a common one. So see if that helps show them up, because it definitely should show them, in theory. There should be. I should make at some point an Audition setup guide for this. I still would like to know. I remember I had to like restart all of my. I had to remake a lot of my shit when I changed hard drives. I had to remake the processing. I feel like I didn't even have to do that though. I'm pretty sure I found the documents file or folder that's shared with them. Like maybe it's in here. No. It might be in app data. Nope. I thought it would have been in here. Well, I see this stuff in here. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but it's in roaming Adobe Audition 1.5. That's the file path. But I don't think that has anything to do with my settings. So if we go to documents. There's Audacity, but no Audition. Why is that in my unknown? Why is that there? What the fuck? Random crow. XD, I can only imagine. Oh, that's the old key for Todd. Doesn't work anymore, thankfully. Haha log, I remember that one. Is that something you see here, or is that something that happened to you? Because I don't even know what the fuck that means. Excellent. Why the fuck are these here? Delete this whole folder. Yeah, so I don't know where I found those. Maybe there's like a thing in here. Reasonable. That's a temp folder. Data. No, I don't know what the fuck that is. What happens if you run the program as admin? You may have to do that the first time. I don't know why you would have to, but yeah, I'm not sure what would be, oops, don't do that. I'm not sure what would be the, where that shit would be. Maybe it was in Regedit. I would believe that. Yeah, here we go. Maybe I copied the, I might have copied the folder for registry. What happens if you delete or move the VST plugins that are there? Try removing them. Move them all to your desktop or something. If it stops crashing, add them one at a time. Also, let me go find. I'm gonna go look at the exact thing that you were mentioning there. I assume you got them from the modding starter guide. Tools, utilities. Oh, I only gave Audition 1.5 plugins. I didn't actually link Audition itself. That's pretty funny. All right, well, I'll download this and see what I actually gave you because I don't remember. Okay, it's just exactly what was in my folder. Yeah, so the DLL files are the actual VST plugins, so try taking one of them out at a time. It might be like the FL Studio ones. You might, if you try removing those first. Although, maybe that's where the, I don't even know. I don't know why that would be like that. It's weird. Hi, Scarlett. Oh, it crashes with them. Okay. Yeah, so those are... I don't know why that would be like that and why it's like that for me and not for you. But at some point, I'll fix that. I was just giving Vika a crash course on Audition. That's all. And now I have to BRB again because I got to get some food real quick. Just a small snack. And I will return. Hi. All right, so what should we do while I'm sitting here eating my snack, which is actually a meal? I mean, it's not. It's a light meal. It's cereal with bits of banana and some peanut butter. Is there something epic we should watch and react to? Remember when I did that? See if I have anything exciting. Oh, you know what? Raw Flesh did say he released a new video. Wow, it's a 2-hour video. Oh boy. Well, let's see what happens. This is a video of his map Frostbite. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I will go at double speed. Oh, we're going to want to turn that down. You know, just before I begin, it amazes me how many people have a fucked up set of audio configurations and similar such things. I mean, I know Brood War is an old game, but still. Well, this map description is already fucked up. We got Kerrigan and her broods set foot on an unknown ice planet, Chlor. It should be the unknown ice planet, but why would you call it an unknown one if it has a name? And it should be the unknown ice planet of Chlor. I mean, I guess either one works, but... what's up, Hooptor? She investigates the planet. Should be investigates, but you'd think it would be investigates, but it should actually be investigated. Like, the tense changes from the first sentence to the second, so we're already in for a real epic reality. Alright, boys. Pace yourselves. Zagara, are we close to Andrea yet?
Without a delay, my queen, we will fly toward Andrea approximately by the next 2 hours. This might been a long trip.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
My queen, we have detected a large amount of abandoned Terran forces stationed on the unknown ice planet. It seems this faction looks familiar.
Oh fuck. What are you referring? Good question.
These Terran forces that we picked up from this planet seems to be stranded for years. It looks like the symbol of an eagle standing on top of the globe with a red triangle.
What?
UED, alive. Gurg. I thought my swarm already eradicated them all. How come these survivors weren't dead?
Fuck me, dude. Yeah, you're not as bad, man. Trust me. We found out this commander used the part to be part of the Falcon Wing, since during the aftermath of the Battle of Char, their ships seemed to be crash-landed on the planet's surface. They seem to be regrouping by numbers and finish constructing their base. I guess this guy, I mean, maybe you had some more typos or something, but the problem with Raw Flesh's dialogue so far is that he actually went through and, like, it's not just the construction of the sentences, it's also the fact that the tenses keep changing. And the way that he's expositing this information, for one, it's just really boring. But for another, it's like... It's as if the dialogue is actually taking place like an hour after the previous line. Where, like, we just found these guys. And then, like, the next line from the same character is, we found out that their leader is this. Like, you're getting a live battle report? Like, wouldn't that be more exciting to look at? So, yeah, I don't get it. Already. That's okay. Oh my god. I did almost choke. Alright. How long is this briefing? Alright, good. It's almost over. Man, when I skip your briefing in your video, no. By the way, I'm pretty sure his audio is delayed by a second, so we're gonna get real exciting very soon. Yes, yes, it is. It is delayed. Hold on, let me refresh my page. Oh, no. I gotta watch it on mute then. I can't handle that. Alright, double speed it up. Planet Clord, December 25th, 2504. Check this out, dude. Oh, don't tell me it's a micro section. It is a micro section. Oh, dude, they actually get removed immediately? On, like, right in front of the player's face? Like, that's the first thing you see in this map is the overlords fly in and then fly out and get removed. But alright, if you say so. We got hunter killers, we're 1-1 already. Unclean one? Why are... Oh, we have some devouring ones and some zerglings and some hunter killers and some hydras. And now we got company. Now we've got company. I'm eating more fucking cereal. Fuck this. Oh boy. Okay. Dude, he, in his own map, he's having difficulty, like he's preparing himself for checkpoints and shit because he knows that the center view is going to snap his view away from what he's looking at. Like, that's why you never use center views in gameplay, during gameplay sequences. Also, why don't we start out with a base? What is wrong with this? Also, UD marks men, not man. Good one. He seems to be a low APM player. Kerrigan was always purple, by the way. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Like, even when your brood was purple in Vanilla Zerg, the Vanilla Zerg campaign, she was purple as well. So, keep that in mind. Arbitrarily must clear every single fucking building in this area, I guess. Minons. We will establish our base on this spot. Zagara dispatch some overlords to deploy more of our forces. Hold on a minute. I'm sensing more Zerg life form around this planet. Dude, Zerg here in Rawflesh's campaign. I was not expecting that one. Hi. Dude, it's Rexon. Who are you? No. No. Dude, he actually took Rexon from my project. Dude, is this a prank? He actually took it. He came out of the fucking cave and everything. Zits and broods, why your minions were staying on this cold planet? We were trying to find a place to construct a hive cluster for our swarm. Then a storm froze us up, and one of my underlings never returned back. It's hard to find them. What about UED remnants, and how did they know you're here? How did they know you're here? You mean these Terrans come here to attack us? Yes. While my scouts were looking for our missing underlings after the storm, a small group of Terran recon attacked us from nowhere. I tried to save my broods from their path until their support arrives timely to cut us out. Then another storm shows up which freezes us again. How long did you hide inside these caves? Approximately more than 8 months. Approximately more than a month. Oh, okay. Oh shit, dude, Recky's son. I can't believe it. Reki-san must survive. Dude, he actually just took my project. He stole it. He stole Reki-san from me. Corman, by the way. Oh, man. It could have been their commander.
Kerrigan, this is pausing the game after you started playing.
Holy shit, look at his resource stockpile, too. Also, this AI isn't even active that we center viewed. We center viewed over here, and we're looking at an AI that isn't even fucking mining. Or doing anything. And we paused the game. That is a good question. We may never know. Iron Fist. I'm not playing anything. This is a video from Rawflesh. I'm watching it at double speed. Yeah. This is a 2-hour video, man. All right. Is the insane dialogue over? Dude, look at how much money he has. Also, the reason why I'm watching it on mute, you'll know real quick. Can you guess? I'll give you one guess. Nope. Has nothing to do with the player and more to do with the setup. Notice anything fucked up about this? Notice anything asynchronous about this? Yeah, there's like a solid 1.5 delay. Anyway, I just want to get to, let's find a part where he talks to some guy. He stays in his base for most of this map, it seems. Bears. OMG, I should type a message instead of clicking my hydras, by the way. Yeah, Reki-sun, dude. Instead of Wrecked-sun, Reki-sun. He didn't even bother trying to change his it-sun, though. That's what is the funniest part. Yeah. It's like... I like that Veek says delay when he's like 10 seconds delayed on the stream or something. He is the delay. Wow. Don't worry, it'll take him 15 seconds to fix it. Nice delay. I do like that it was like maybe a 30 or 40 supply attack max. Probably even less than that. Well, it's because he got buffered, I'm pretty sure. That's why it happened. Why is he sunken pushing instead of using his hydras? Like, he's expanding? I mean, I would have expanded too in this context, but I also would have had like 50 hatcheries. He gives you enough starting resources to get at least 8 hatcheries. Yeah, you were also delayed on the broadcast, dude. Or you were anyway. I don't know. Maybe you fixed it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was you actually. You as well, actually. Dude, I can't believe this. Skipping ahead now. Oh, they found something. Maybe he has to bring Kerrigan there. I wasn't paying attention. Well, if he does, he's not making it a... I haven't paid attention to see if there were changes to stats in the map settings, but yeah, obviously there's no mod, I don't think. This, by the way, Rawflesh actually said, he was like, I think Zitsun is too parodist or something. Like, he just made up words, but he was basically complaining that it doesn't, it's too dumb. Like, it's not comedic, or it is comedic, and that's why he doesn't like it. Marksmen, corpsmen. Yeah, plague that infantry. Get him. Dude, what am I watching? Get out of here. Oh, that is where they were?
What? Impossible.
You. All right, I'm not doing that. I just added that to the starter guide as well, Veek. So if you ever need a refresh, it'll be there. That's assuming they work. I guess I should have waited for you to test to make sure that they work. I sent them to you in DMs. We were watching that because I was eating food and I wanted something to watch. Anyway, UED, how are you? Hope things are going well. Obviously, you've been in and out of the stream, but you came back just in time to watch that. Cool. Cool stuff.
For the UED.
Oh yeah, before I continue with this, I wanted to update Framework. There were some issues with it, right? Like the most recent build had some problems, I feel like. Let's take a look. Oh, I guess this should probably be commented out, but whatever. Well, I would always recommend not having that be there, but... I mean, not having it be schizo, but, you know, to each their own. To you, their me. Well, I don't know what would be... I don't think that there's anything immediately showing up here as a problem.
I can see the end in sight.
You.
I read between the lines. I read between the lines.
What is odd cust INI? I don't even know what that is. Is that a file I should remove from the zip? Is that what you mean? Oh, that odd cust INI is just for favorites. Okay. I'm gonna make a separate thing here. Okay. So I just updated the link on the modding starter guide to link to Audition 1.5 extras, which links to an installer for the program, a bunch of presets, from my roaming folder and the plugins. Oh, but I didn't fix one thing about that. Okay, that should be fixed now. So that will help for later on. So, if you remember, I was having a lot of problems synchronizing data over Mega because it instituted this weird file version history system that went on silently and completely fucked up everything. So since then, every time I replace a file, it doesn't keep the link persistent, which is why the unitdef, the extended unitdef file that Hoopthrower was looking for the other day was missing. Is because I had updated it at some point without updating the link, because previously I didn't have to. So what I'm going to eventually do at some point is go through the list of tools that I link. And I'm going to create folders for all of them. So like Audition Extras is that folder there. And there's going to be AI Extras that's going to include the experimental build from iQuare, the changes from Veek, the extended unitdef file, and basically every like miscellaneous feature that you could want, and that would be beneficial to provide to the general public. And then that can also serve as a repository where I can just upload updates to those files and additions to those that's whole system, that whole suite, and I don't have to worry about updating links anymore. So that would be ideal, I think, because there's way too many places to try and keep track of. So if you go into the modding starter guide, Hoopthrower, you'll see a link. That's the last utilities link. I'll reopen it right now. Make sure that the formatting is correct. I didn't even check out. It says Audition 1.5 Extras, download. It's right below Photoshop palettes. You can find everything there. Oh, it looks like I was going to host Mega Mirror. It looks like at some point I was going to host MTL, but I forgot to actually upload a link there, so it's just broken this whole time. I'll fix that now. That. If you don't want to use autotune, by depth you mean making the voice deeper. If you don't want to use autotune, you would use the pitch and stretch. What are they? Effects. You. So in this particular case, we're going to go into time/pitch bender, and I usually use like quarter down because these are pretty heavy changes. So I use quarter down, and then in stretch I go to quarter stretch. Or quarter down rather, and I do that. The combination of pitch and stretch, because pitch will slow down if you're lowering or speed up if you're increasing the pitch on the waveform. The stretch will fix it. You. That's a little subtle in that case, but you can mess around with the presets that I have there. Right, so you. The basics that I mess around with when it comes to auto-tune, I can mess around with throat length. Throat length adds a weird... It's not really depth, but it's like a weird sound effect to it. I don't know how to describe it best, but you'll know it when you hear it. So increasing that will past 100 will change certain things, and decreasing it past 100 will change different things. So like by default it's 100, and so increasing that to various effects will change it. Transpose, a negative transpose value changes pitch. So it rather lowers pitch, and a higher than 0 transpose, a positive transpose value, changes it in accordance with like raising the pitch to make it higher pitched. And then formant or not dictates whether or not you can even use throat length. So if you want to use throat length, you have to tick formant. Then after you tweak those settings, you can also affect how intense some of the effects that you have are. You can further tweak them down here with the formant amount, amplitude amount, and pitch amount. I haven't really messed around with this, but you can probably fuck around with the vibrato shit and these 4 tabs, and I haven't touched anything over here on the left. I think maybe a few times I tried to mess around with like changing it from soprano to alto, but basic, like some of that stuff can be useful. But other than changing the input type, I haven't messed around with much of this. Only when I was working with some of the more out there effects that I needed to make for alternate that I did that. So that's that. Also, it looks like you can't change the sample rate, but that's fine because you're not affecting anything differently. So that's a basic understanding of that. And don't feel like really what it comes down to is similar to AI, where you have to experiment with your own shit in order to figure out whether or not there's something that you like about the overall construction of things. That's how you have to mess around with audio editing. That's how you have to mess around with a lot of this stuff that's more about technique and more personal and more about that sort of thing. When compared to stuff like technical art, where there's a very clear line between correct and incorrect. Like there's clear lines between correct and incorrect when it comes to audio editing as well. But in terms of finding out what is enticing for you as a designer, that is best left to you yourself figuring that out. So definitely experiment a lot. And other than that, I don't really have much else to say. Obviously, if you have specific questions, I'll be happy to answer them where possible. All right. Yeah, no problem. Obviously, it's in the middle of a larger stream, so it's not very convenient. But at least you have it set up now. Well, the music is over, which means my stream is also over. It's been 3.5 hours. I don't think we got too much done, but we did finish Crack, and we messed around with some of the mod stuff, and organized the Mega Drive and all that other shit. And what else did we do? Tweak the AI systems with the attack ideas and all that. So the next mod stream will obviously be tomorrow. I'm not going to stream again because it's very late here. It's already 8:36, so I want to go to bed in an hour or so. I'm very tired. So tomorrow I will do a mod stream where I will probably make some custom tiles, just some quick shit for the ramps and the ice ramps and this outpost ramp. I want to do those. Those are long overdue. And once I'm done with that, I will probably probably look to fix up the AI because they're clearly fucked up in some ways. And then I'll try to fix up the triggers. And hopefully I'm able to do all of those. And then... you know, I think tomorrow's mod stream will actually be fairly lengthy just because I'll have a lot of time. So hopefully that works out. Obviously, if anybody updates their mapcraft submission, let me know so I can update the archive. And otherwise, if anybody... yeah, no, I think that was it, right? Vote for the... On the poll. It is linked in the mapcraft channel. And yes, indeed, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. I'm not working, so... I will be here, and then I'll probably go out later, and then I'll go to bed. So, bye. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. Good talking to you guys. Good crapping with you guys. I'm going to go crap for real. Bye.